game and a tournament that is going on tomorrow, so we have to be up at 5 a.m. so it is going to be pretty early tomorrow. Not probably going to be able to catch the regular time stream that we do on our Sundays, but we did have the reset today, so I wanted to hop in, make sure that we get everything that we need in here, including borrowing heroes. Now this is super important, guys, when it comes to being able to come in here, when it gets and really going into the short term of borrowing these heroes on a regular basis. This is a game changer. Borrowing them from Lith, borrowing them from Mesmer, have to make sure that we are getting them and also lending them. A lot of players do look to borrow heroes out as well, so I do borrow and auto lend these as soon as possible once I do hop in with the reset. So looking at the friends list, I'm not sure. We have one Sono Rez, unfortunately not there. If he is not there next week, I don't even know if he's playing. I haven't seen Sono Rez, haven't seen D2, haven't seen a lot of people in a while in AFK Arena. With all the changes, with all of the updates and everything else we have going on. I'm not sure exactly who plays really where and how often players are playing as well. So we do have Darren here and we do have Soul. Again, it's a very late minute live stream. So yesterday, or no, actually earlier today, we pushed into chapter 70. Right now we are on 70-48. We knew going into this, we were very, very over leveled. So I wanted to hop in here, wanted to run through and push some more of the campaign progression, try to get through chapter 70, possibly based on the teams, based on what we're building. Now, looking at formations, we're on level about 1015. So I want to come down here. Eldritch Friar, we have actually followed quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and use this formation. This is going to allow me to cover chat. Any questions you got, guys, drop them in there. But I want to go through and I want to make some more progression. A lot of players were wondering why we never push campaign progression. It is slow. It is so slow. Trying to get through all 5 of these battles is incredibly difficult and incredibly time consuming. I mean, I spent a couple hours today just going through campaign stages. Some of the battles go pretty quick. Some of the battles like Mihira battles and also Thorin battles are super, super taxing. They're super long to go through here. What's going on? Midnight's Oblivion. Thank you for joining us for the late minute stream. We have the Shroom Spooter in here. And this is a Mihira team. So we know this one, again, it's going to be pretty dicey when it comes to the crowd control. Also running Rem in here. Now we got Envy to ult. That is a really big thing in here. If you can get Envy to ult, a lot of times does some insane damage very, very quickly. But overall, looks like this is going to be a defeat. We're going to have to see if we can get through here. Chapter 5540 right now. Yeah, I don't know, and I was kind of wondering at what point are they going to move? And we know there are more rewards coming to the Misty Valley. Right now, the maximum, I believe, is chapter 45. I think it's still at 45 for that game mode. I don't know if it's going to be increased. We're waiting to see exactly what the next update looks like, if there is going to be a change. What's going on, Femboy? I'm with Ascension. Would you like guild trial teams? Sure, we can do them. Yeah, the guild trial teams. Do you mean like the guild going through there with the 2 hero trials? Just watched your video finishing 69. Yeah, Miko, it was very cool. Again, guys, campaign progression is time consuming. There is so many RNG factors and so much RNG that goes into this. It is just literally sit and grind and grind and grind. I only do this when I'm on my PC. I don't do it on my phone. I don't want to sit there and literally kill my phone's battery just running through and farming it out. Yeah, the top 10 teams. Sure. Yeah, you can definitely share them with us. What's going on, Jay Shrods? Yep, my name is right. Hello. That's funny to read it. Yeah. Hello. Thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, late minute stream. I wanted to run through here, do some of the campaign. Lavatoon and Belinda still just crushing it in here. Funny that we're fighting Almas at such a high level. Tassie at such a high level. But they are still here. They have the engraving. They have the pets. They have pretty much all decked out at this point to take down a lot of those. Yeah, every time they do that. Yeah, my name is right. What's going on, Maywe? Is it Maywe? It may be Maywe. So here we do have Shamira, and then we do have the Draconic version of Gwen. This is another one where a lot of players built the Draconic version of Gwen very early. Unfortunately, not seeing a lot of utility with her anymore. Considering the sheer cost to build some of these heroes is just kind of insane. But again, we're not seeing a ton of utility, unfortunately, with her at this point. If we had the swap for it, that would have been pretty cool. Already finishing chapter 7. We're getting close. We are getting close. Again, after we finished out 69, and Brutus, of course, has the shield. Let's see if the panda can help us kill. The panda hides us, guys, and look at that. Gwen gets it done. The panda Dumpty pulled through with the little hiding DPS from the back. Are you still playing the free-to-play account? I haven't in a little bit, Travis. I haven't played it in a little bit. I'm going to have to hop back on it. I'm going to have to hop in there, do some summons. We pushed all the way to 32. We got kind of stuck right at 32. That was the last time I really played, which I would have to look at YouTube to see the last time we actually hopped on that account. It's been a little while. I hop on there, collect some resources every now and then, but doing the dailies, I haven't done it in a little bit. We can definitely get that back because Raid, I'm probably not going to stick with Raid. Raid takes a lot of time. Shadow Legends, I'm probably not going to stick with that. It has been a lot. Had a formation taking almost 2.4 attempts. Thank God for auto battle. Yeah, Miko, there are a few. If you're looking at the Thorin Cheese and how many times the Thorin Cheese has just been absolutely silly, it is kind of crazy. What are your teams for the Treasure Scramble this round? I grabbed a few in there. So Treasure Scramble, we can look at them real quick because I think I'm rated about 1%. Usually when I come into the Treasure Scramble, I go in here, and right now we're ranked number 1 or 1%. When we come in the Treasure Scramble, looking at the teams we do right now, two things to note is looking in here and looking at some of the whale teams is we'll notice right off the bat, Woody 2, I usually follow, Lith, I usually follow, even Blossom. A few in here we can pick up, we can use their formations. But the big thing to note is when it comes to PvP, there are a few ones that we're really missing in here. Mainly being one, we don't have Skyland, which unfortunately we don't have the ability to build out Skyland. So every time I come in this formation, we have to look for the formations, one, that have Skyland. This is one that I drop out. He is only legendary, so Skyland we cannot use. And the same with Halia. Halia is another one, unfortunately, we do not have access to. So in here, I will usually put Scion in here versus running Skyland, because Skyland we don't have. Now, Treasure Scramble, of course, you cannot use and you cannot borrow heroes within here, which is unfortunate, but we don't have any way to get, and we're not building up Skyland. Like I said, with Halia, we're not building her up either, but going in here and switching out Skyland, a lot of times for the substitution, I will put in the Awakened version of Iran. Iran is being used in here because we have this nasty buff that we have in here, which is really, really huge. Going in here, like I said, that's usually my substitution that I have to do. When we start getting later into some of these formations, it's a lot tougher because, again, there are a lot of heroes that we do not possess within the Draconic faction, and they are the very, very tippy-top strong heroes within there that players really are competitive. I've noticed, though, that with the competitive nature, it seems like I'm scoring, and I still say about 50 to 80 within the Treasure Scramble by the time we're at the end. Can't really push any higher than that because of not having some of those very high-built Draconic heroes. Unfortunately, just like a lot of players, we can't build them. We can't build them. We don't have them. We're not going to have access to them at all, but they are really focused hugely in part on the PvP aspect. I have Belinda, Athalia, Shemira, Solus, and Zora. I was wondering what hero I should build as a free-to-play player. Most of those pretty good. So Athalia does incredibly well. If you're looking who you should be building, number one is going to be Envy. So if you think about bigger picture, when you look at the heroes you need to be building right now, guys, Envy is used in every game mode, period. Every single game mode we have within AFK Arena, Envy is being used. We know susceptible to power creep damage, but when you start looking at best in slot teams, Envy is one that is best in slot in a ton of the content that we have. The higher you build him up, the better he's going to perform. I know I say that a lot, but honestly, when it comes to damage dealers, and if you want to get the damage out of the damage dealers, they have to be built up considerably. It does and really is important. Is Nox actually good? Yeah, Nox really found his place within a few formations, and pretty much it's the Slumbering Seal. So when you start looking at formations, and some of the baselines in here are very similar when it comes to Cursed Realm, and honestly, the three biggest places within AFK Arena is the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, and the Treasure Scramble. when you look at the game modes that yield the absolute biggest amount of resources, those are the 3 areas that are bringing in the biggest amount of resources. And in here, you can see right here is our new hero. So right here in the combination, there is Laos and there is Marseille. Marseille has been doing incredibly well, and Marseille is being used in quite a few formations. Now, interesting enough, I went in there and I was looking at Marseille and I was going through formations, looking at a couple different places, and she was actually used with Laos in a few formations within regular campaign formations. So now you're looking at altering formations in their entirety with her being able to really maximize damage. So it seems like we're going to have some pretty decent utility out of these heroes, and without Laos, doesn't work as well. So it really doesn't work. And then look at Nox, guys. Right here is Nox doing his runaround. He does some energy regeneration. He does some buffing. As a support hero, is Nox actually good? Nox does well, and Nox does very well in a couple different game modes, being able to buff up a lot of different places, a lot of different heroes. And again, it's pretty cool to see. We have Senshi right here, back here, cooking, throwing all of these buffs back here. You can actually see the enemies entering the back of the field, which is thrown up for the cooking. Right there was a minion. He's cooking up the minion right now. It's pretty cool, guys. As much as I like the anime we are going through watching Delicious in Dungeon, it's a pretty cool anime to watch overall, and how they're buffing up and how it kind of goes in here. What's going on, Jaffa? It's pretty interesting. Also sent the trial teams. Yeah, I'll have to see. Team 2 for Laos is manual. Are you kidding, Kwanda? Oh, that's so rough, guys, when it comes in here, when it comes to the manual teams in here. But like I was saying, guys, Marseille is being used. Marseille is the one that we built out. We're waiting to get Laos, and it's going to be a while. So if you're not familiar, again, a lot of players were kind of questioning how exactly this worked and what was the catch-22 when it comes to the dimensional sign-in, getting all of these chests. The chests are getting maxed out, but looking at the exchange, this is, again, where a lot of players were not too happy, is what it looks like is after this time, so after our 21 days, you can start the exchange. After you start the exchange, you have to wait another 28 days. Yeah, so that is kind of the broken part. And again, everyone's seen, including myself, seen the 21 days. We were like, cool, we can do the exchange in 21 days. That is not exactly how it works. Once you wait the 28 days, then you start using some of the resources after those 21 days. Then you start buying all of the fragment chests for the next 28 days. So actually, after your 21 plus your 28 days is the time, from my understanding, that you can redeem or you can exchange these in the entirety. Why do I not have the dungeon visitors page? How do I claim the characters of the collab? You should have them, Z. Are you on the classic or are you on companions? Companions allows you to get them for free. In here, you get the trial version of them. You can't claim them unless, I'm not sure if there's a point where you have to be on a certain level or a certain chapter or stage when you do get to this point. That might make a really big difference. I'm on chapter 33. What heroes do you recommend, since you have 3 teams now? 3 teams is where it gets interesting. Honestly, one team is going to be, of course, looking at running Randy and running Ivan together. That is going to be a team. A lot of people are running kind of a formation. And again, depending who you have, it's so hard, Lucy, when we talk about formations, because looking at the recommendations, this is the reason why I focus on the recommendations and really so hard on the recommendations, is because I don't know what heroes you have available to build a third team. When you start looking at heroes like Mahira, does incredibly well in campaign formations. Belinda will, if you put some support around there, will work incredibly well. A lot of players do run Rem in there as well. If you did pick up a copy of Rem, could work in there as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out those trial teams and see what they're all about. I might do a video on them if they're really that hard to go through there. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Just keep it on auto to 115 and have Frampton alt at 114. If you're on the classic version, what chapter are you on? So if you're not seeing any of those, Z, I'm not sure why. If you're on the classic server, it might depend what chapter you're on. I think it was, is it 16? 16 or 18. Again, depending on what chapter you're on, it might make a different, real difference in how well you're doing. Yeah, Ivan, Randy, do incredibly well. Rem, Demia, yep. Mahira, Liberta. Again, it's going to make a big difference, Lucy, on who you have built. Without knowing exactly what it looks like, it's going to be kind of hard. What dragon hero should I start trying to build if I can only really get a couple of them? Nicholas, are you looking at the regular Draconic or are you looking at the Highborn? Regular Draconic, there are two that are imperative. One is Scion, two is Valfuri, the one that we have right here on the right side of my screen. Those are the two that are really sitting higher in the tier list. You could even put... really put a Nyla in there. Nyla's seeing, again, kind of a niche formation, but I'm trying to think of the other ones. Meleon would work in there. And again, if you're building out the regular ones, chapter 14, I believe that's YZ. I think it is 16 or 18. So push a little bit further in there. Yeah, it's the chapter that you're not seeing it in. I'm not exactly sure. If anyone knows, guys, please drop it in chat. I'm not exactly sure what chapter you do get them or what chapter you do see them, but 14 is too early. I believe it is 16. It might even be 18 that you do see them. 16 is, of course, where you unlock the Stargazer, where you start seeing a lot more of the game. I believe that is going to be the point. So yeah, Cylon, Meleon, Nyla, yep, exactly. Those are the ones you need to focus on from the regular ones that we see. They are going to be the most important. And honestly, right now, looking at and building, we'll hop out of this for a minute. But when you start looking at what heroes should you build, if you're building heroes in the Draconic faction, those are really the big ones to build when it comes to the Dragon Isle. And I know we have the Dragon Forge. Let's go ahead and get some of our resources out of here. Boom, we stay at 10. They haven't added anything else on here. Not exactly sure why, but it's kind of silly not to. We're buying out and building out all of the Draconic Exchange every week. But looking at the Pagoda, the only ones in here, honestly, these two are the big. Then looking in here, like I said, Meleon is going to be one. Nyla is going to be one that you want to build. Out of the rest of these, I would go Kregor, just for the simple fact that Kregor is still going to have utility in Treasure Scramble. If you're looking at the Draconic heroes, these are the 5 to build out, and the only 5 really that you should really focus on. Looking at Cassius, looking at Polina, not really a big driving force there. And of course, Lith shared with me this is what the wish list should look like. Shouldn't fill in those 5-star heroes. It's just going to be garbage. Putting these two in here, we have been building these out little by little just to build them up a little bit further. And then of course here, when it comes to the Highborn Draconic heroes, wait till you're about 600 insignias. If you're sitting on about 600 insignias, you should be good to build a Draconic hero. Look at that time who is going to be the most prevalent for you and kind of build it out from there. But yeah, like I said, if you're in chapter 14, yes, you're going to have to push some more content to be able to unlock everything else within there. Should I get a signature 40 for the Awakened version of Iran? It works pretty well. So the 40 with Iran, I don't believe is a massive priority. Let me look, because I do have the guide up. Yeah, the 30 is good on him. Again, recommended is 30960 for Iran. So the 40 is not a huge priority, but the Blaze Energy penetrates all enemies that pass through, inflicting health loss. If you really want to do and have him do a little bit more damage, that could make a big difference. Getting him to the 40, it definitely could. Skylin, yeah. Skylin is huge, but again, Skylin, I feel like the power creep could be coming with the next 4 Awakened heroes that we see in the future. I feel like they might not be holding it as much as possible. I want to build Dimensionals from Dungeon. Who should I pick? If you only have one, it is going to be Marcial. This is going to be the one, guys. Utility-wise, you want to build Marcial, and I'm actually going to build her up a little bit further, just seeing that she is having some utility. So when you have a plus 30 signature item, and I want to make sure that this is one that we do. So when you have a plus 30, taking a plus 30 to a plus 40 is going to use one and only one of our epic space emblems. So I'm going to use one of these. Boom, that takes to 31. From 31, we are going to use our regular ones all the way up to 38. So as we build it again, mathematically, this makes the most sense. Not using the epic chest, using the red chest, going all the way up to 38. So right there is 38. Now we're on 38. From here, we are going to do the next two right here. So 39 and 40 is going to be built up right here. And this is where she is staying. So magic pierce boost from each stack of black magic will increase by 5 points. That is going to amp her damage up super high out of there. Is it still worth building Melion? Yes. So the thing to remember with Melion is he buffs Draconic heroes. That is one of the big things. So push to 16 and get the Awaken at 16. Yes. Yeah, push to 16. Absolutely. Melion has the ability to buff Draconic heroes. So that is something to remember, is when it comes to this hero specifically, he is going to buff up Draconic heroes, which is the reason why he is still being used. When you start looking at the addition of Skyland, when you look at, getting Halia, makes a really big difference because Melion still buffs up Draconic heroes specifically, meaning he can take their damage and put it up a lot further with the support that he does. Can you add me? I saw that map. Right now we're full. Yeah, there you go. He's the Albedo of Draconic. So if you remember Albedo, guys, again, old school throwback, Albedo buffs all of the dimensional heroes. Melion buffs all of the Draconic heroes. Kind of by design, it works incredibly well, and he does work very, very well with being built. Can I push to chapter 16 with Chimera carry? Yeah, you can. Absolutely, you can push with Chimera. Don't starve if you're free to play. Yeah, if you're looking at trying to save some, and I know land right here, we did build up land quite a bit, actually have a little bit more engraving in here. Land is really big when it comes to PvP. If you're building out the star, if you're building out the engraving, this is really, both of these, honestly, are big when it comes to the PvP aspect, when it comes to being competitive within modes like the Treasure Scramble. It can make a big difference. We have, 22? I'm going to save them. I'm going to save them right now. Again, through a lot of game modes, land doesn't need the engraving. You don't have to build her up any further. But if you want to be competitive, absolutely, the bigger, the higher that you build them, the better they're going to be. Thanks. I almost built, you almost built Laos. I think it's Laos. So overall, guys, again, Marcia would be the one that I build. Now, Laos, I feel like the effectiveness of this hero is going to have to find a niche place. That's one of the big things. Is I feel like he's really going to have to find a place. It seems like running both of them together, so running Marcial together with Laos, is working pretty well in a lot of game modes. I don't know if they work independently. We're going to have to see exactly what that looks like. PvP, she wants a star 100%. Yeah, exactly. Anything that you want to be competitive is going to be the game mode. How long have you been playing the game? It's been 6 years. As it has been 6 years in AFK Arena. A lot of players were asking, how exactly do I have high signature items, a lot of plus 40 signature items? It's a lot of events. It's a lot of daily chests. It's a lot of red chests, honestly. When we start looking at a lot of the heroes that have these plus 40 signature items, we have built up and use an incredible amount of resources in here, and we do it religiously. It's been 6 years and a lot of money. That's exactly it. So right now we are VIP 16. So over 6 years, the accumulation of funds getting into the VIP 16. It's been, a lot of money and a lot of time, guys. When you think, even looking at when we did the throwback to what we just seen with the anniversary event, I missed logging into AFK Arena 3 days in an entire year. Only 3 days in that entire year that we went through there. Yeah, Lilith Path is at 16. Lilith, is that where you log into the other thing? I haven't used it since it was released. Let me look at the Lilith Pass. I don't even know what this is going to bring up, but this is something that I have not used. Welcome back since it was released. So 330 points. So we're at 26,000 in here. Again, I feel like they had the best of intentions coming up with this, and then no one ever used it. So birthday bundle, it looks like we claimed it. That would have been 723.75. I don't think I ever claimed it. Again, I don't log into this ever. That's why we literally got all of those points. But in here, you can see you can buy some pretty decent stuff. Time emblems I can't buy. Stargazer scrolls. Even looking at the cores and the baits we can't buy. Variety chests. Oh, we can buy these times 30. 10,000 points. No way, guys. We're going to save these. That's kind of crazy. So $17K. There we go. So we spent $17K dollars. How do we get out of here? Oh, there we go. So 17K over 6 years. Dollar cost averaging, that's not too bad. I know when we started this account, it was the pay to win account. It was the account we put a lot into it, probably about the first 12 months, and then really scaled it back. So around 17K is what we're looking at right there over the last 6 years. So not too bad. You talk about a baby dolphin, and there we go, guys. There's another 30 epic chests in here that we're picking up. Also picking up Draconic emblems in here. Let's go ahead and pick up these resources, pick up these diamonds. Let's do a couple summons. Let's hop in here. We'll do a couple summons. We're already through. There's 44. There's 48. We are almost done with chapter 70 at this point, which is incredible. Crazy. Have you ever thought of joining Ascension? We will probably take you. I could. I mean, I've been with Back in Black, so I was in casuals for an incredible amount of time. Then Back in Black merged with Adventure Walk, Adventure Run, all of those guilds. We've been doing incredibly well. I mean, we're not super competitive in this guild. This isn't even the competitive guild that we've looked at. I haven't hopped around. I've only been in like 3 guilds, I think, since we've played this. I could, but again, we hop in. Again, guilds are going to change. Guilds have to change. We know there's going to be a lot of updates, a lot of changes with guilds. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see, because even thinking of when we do the Mystic Star Zone, when we do a couple different things, I know a lot of players are not active. I don't know exactly what it's gonna look like. Just for the simple fact, now the Lost Spire also started. I haven't done the Lost Spire. Now this just takes time. Every day you get a certain amount of these torches. With the torches, you can make a certain amount of progression just based on the torches that you get finishing out quests. So going in here and really getting your torches, and I forget, where do we get the first torches? It's not, oh, we get a set of heroes in there, but I thought, there they are. The torches are on the bottom right. So we get 5 of these torches. Every day you get 5 of the torches. It's pretty easy going through this game mode. We even ran through as a free-to-play player with just the ones they gave us. But you can hop in here. You can join some other heroes. You can get some in here. And I'm going to put Envy in here. And you know what? This is probably going to be a cheat mode. If we can keep Envy alive, let's go ahead and throw some signature items on there. We'll build him up just a little bit and see. He's probably going to be a carry. It's very easy for him. Just take him, put him back row, max level, max level. Now the engraving, we just need a little bit more. But we can put him back row. And look who they start you with, guys. It's kind of crazy. I'm sure, yeah, I thought the bottom. It's kind of crazy because look at you talk about some really, really basic kind of garbage heroes. It's sad that they start you with these. It's crazy. Yeah, the first level is very easy to go through, especially when you build someone up. Now, pretty much you just want to get a formation. You want to stick to a formation and then build up everyone within that formation, going through stage by stage. It's easy to get through here. By the time you're towards the end, you'll literally have so many resources. You can build everything out in its entirety. It's very easy to get through here. Yeah, those here. Yeah, I know. That's my thought. Every time I see those, Tonto, I'm like, God, they start us off with such bad heroes. Now, of course, once you go in here, you can build out some runes. A lot of players reduce or get the extra Spire tokens when cleaning floors or when defeating floors. It makes it easier if you're buying them early for the accumulation. Some just go in here straight power, depending on who you build. It's pretty good. Yeah, Kelton seems pretty good. Even building him out, he doesn't have everyone else there. That's it. Awaken Lucius is good, but it seems like you have all the old carries. Yeah, this, every time I go in here and start, this is what it puts me in here. So we can spend to unlock more of these slots to build an actual team in here. I feel like we can use all 5 of our torches with just the base that we have right here. We could build it out. We could use some different teams in here. And maybe drop in Marseille. I might drop Marseille and a couple other ones in here just to build them out a little bit further. Kelvin's pretty good at same level. He made Lucy usable for a bit. Yeah, and now Envy. I mean, Kelvin and Envy together, pretty solid overall. And I think, yeah, we got through that one. I was wondering where Envy was. I didn't see Envy in there. One more torch. You want to make sure that you're going through here. Now, remember, you can also use your torches. If you're completely stuck in this game mode, you can use your torches for the same level literally just to farm. That is something you can absolutely go in here. You can just go ahead and farm. Right there, Envy does change into the evil version of Envy. And just sitting here, kind of just running around in circles, taking these down. It's a pretty fun game mode. It gives you free loot. It just reminds me of going through here. So we are out of torches. We can't make any more progression. We can hop in here, though. We can finish out a couple of these quests. And, of course, again, free resources. When you think of Misty Valley, when you think of a lot of different events in here, you can just go in here and they give you a bunch of resources for going through and cleaning out all these floors in the entirety. I'm going to save my resources. We'll have some more tomorrow. We have another, another quest supplements can be kept for 72 hours. So we're going to have to wait and see what we can claim within the next one. Could you explain Orthos? So Orthos, if you're wondering, could you explain Orthos? So Orthos has the time stop. So the big broken thing in there, the tank tree resetting stuff. So the big thing with Orthos, he's an old school OG. So what Orthos does is Orthos has the ability to stop time. When Orthos ults, you can actually have Orthos, and it's kind of a cheese effect, is you can have another hero within, that is in a group with Orthos, continue to move. Now this was super broken when Orthos came out because you can have a hero like the awakened version of Athalia where it will time stop. Athalia will continue to do damage when Orthos has the time stop effective, meaning that you could amp damage through the roof utilizing Orthos. And we've seen that with Taylene, where Taylene was another big one. Taylene could scale and be built up while Orthos does the time stop. Now the tank tree resetting stuff, what is going on, Carol? Much respect for you and all the chat. Thank you for joining us. Purple Butterfly, better known as Carol, because I know she's been in streams for an incredible amount of time. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, when you look at Orthos, that was the really big thing. Now, Orthos did require the furniture. This is the big thing that really made it big. So after using time suspension, the ally with the highest combat rating is still able to move. That is one of the really big things, is again being able to move. But then when you look at the 9 of 9, allies haste is increased by 35% while moving during time suspension. This is going to affect the one single hero with the highest combat rating. Again, at that time it was Athalia, it was Taylene. That's one of the really big reasons why we built out Taylene. The original version of Taylene is she could heal your party. So when you know Taylene, and if you're familiar with the original version of Taylene, she was support, but not really support. She did a lot of damage. She also did a crazy amount of healing when she went into her Phoenix form. She gained a lot more abilities. She was super broken when she first came out. Well, the combination of Orthos with Taylene would allow Taylene to move, and Taylene would heal your party when the time suppression was on there, as well as being able to do damage. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of broken. Is Lucius good early game? Honestly, yeah, Lucius will work early game. Again, yeah, most of them work and carry pretty early game. If you can get Randy, it'll be good. If you can get Ivan in there, it will be huge. But that is how the Orthos cheese, and every now and then, I believe Orthos does pop up in a couple different formations for the exact same reason, because in the Nightmare Corridor, where time is of the essence, where if you're killed one boss in 5 seconds, guys, you literally killed a boss in 5 seconds. Talk about a whale player with the awakened version of Thane. But every now and then you will see Orthos pop up in here because of that time suppression skill, being able, and right there he is, being able to stop time. So when you stop time, the time actually stops. So in here, and again, knowing how this formation kind of works, you can see killed the boss within 9 seconds. So we come right out of the gate, and I don't even think he's going to survive long enough. But when Orthos ults, so right there, we just seen Orthos ult, it stops time. It stops your battle timer, allowing you to essentially cut 3 seconds off the damage you're doing here because that battle timer is stopped. Liberta's moving, Orthos is moving, no one else is, but the battle timer is still stopped, which is the reason why that 9 of 9 furniture is broken. And you can get him chain this. You can look. So again, look at how silly it is. And this is one reason why I love Orthos is we'll go through and you'll see once he ults the first time, he can generate enough energy to actually ult within that next kind of window. So you'll see his energy will go to full. Boom, 123. So Liberta is moving, Orthos is moving. Everyone else is frozen, including the timer. The timer is stopped. Watch his energy back down here. As soon as this ends, Orthos is going to ult again. So right here, we got 1 second in. There's the ult, stops it again. Time is stopped, infinity, essentially forever, because he's going to keep doing it. Every 1 second it drops off, he ults again, 3 second delay, ults again, 3 second delay, over and over and over again. That's how you can cheese Orthos and how you could cheese battles old school. Yeah, it's very cool, but that is the reason why Orthos with the 9 of 9 furniture is still being used, because of that time stop. There are so many times, and again, when you start thinking of heroes like Orthos, that is the only hero that does what Orthos does with the time stop. It's the same that we see with like a Zolrath, where he has that delay that comes into battle. They added that recently with the Awakened version of Leica. That's the reason why when you look at Leica with the ability to delay entering into the battle to shield the front line, Leica is going to be around a long time. Not only the damage she brings to formations, but also the delay she brings into battle is very unique to how she works as a hero. That's the reason why, like I said, when they have something that is very unique or very different within formations, it is a game changer, and they're in battle and in combat for an extended amount of time because of how they are kind of broken. I want to do a couple more furniture summons. We're trying to get Marcio built up a little bit further. I think I always also have Laelson here, which we do. We don't have a copy in there. We're going to have to wait a couple more days. I didn't want to drop $50 on there. We might, you know, if we get some extra funds, if we get some, we might end up not waiting the entire time and just burning through a stupid amount of resources with the resource chest instead of waiting 50 days. But right now we're just paused. We haven't built him out. We don't have him. And again, I'm not really planning to get him right now, not planning to purchase him, but we might end up doing it. So there is that 6 of 9 furniture. Also got a couple other mythic pieces for a few other heroes. Let's go ahead and equip these. Few more in overall. A lot of players question Lancaster, Lancer, Lansander. If he's being used, where he's being used. It seemed like there was a moment where the hero was being used and it was very, very short-lived. Oh, we have enough for one more. And then we didn't see him anywhere else. It might be a niche formation, might have to find a place in formations, but I did build him up a little bit. But again, I want to see where he's being used, and we did build him up. He's one that I'm still kind of waiting on. Yeah, Lancaster, Lysander. I haven't used him for anything. I haven't even put gear on him, guys. Let's go ahead and equip him. You know what? Let's go ahead and enchant this gear a little bit. I built him, and as you can see, we built him. We put a little bit of engraving. We got kind of the baseline on there, and I haven't used him for anything. What's going on? Yeah, Kavi. Yeah, very late night. So if you guys aren't aware, guys, I have to get up at 5 a.m. I have to be up at 5 a.m. for a volleyball tournament. We have to drive to the tournament. Meaning my kids have to be up at 5 a.m. because we have a volleyball tournament. It's going to be super early, and I don't know exactly what time they end. There is no end time. Now the reason is when you're doing tournaments, and I'm sure a lot of you that have done it with kids, if you've had any sports in your life, is it depends on if you win or lose. That's the thing, is if they win, yes, if we get up, if we go, if they win, they play longer, they continue playing. And that is the big point of kind of the organized sports. If they do win, we play longer, we play more games. We could be there for the early day. We could be there all day long. It depends on the performance of the team, depending if they win or lose, depending on the competition, everything else. So it's kind of crazy because even then, it's very, very young that they're doing this. So I'm going to leave them in the tier 3 gear. I'm happy with the tier 3. That's okay. That gives them a little bit more utility in there. Again, we're starting to kind of slow build the furniture on there to see exactly where we're going to use him, if we're going to use him. But like I said, with Laos, I might end up just buying the hero. I might hop in and just spend the $50. I don't know. We'll have to see if we're going to pick this up, if we're just going to buy him, or if we're just going to wait. Again, it's going to be a considerable wait. Now that we know it's not the 21 days actually allows you to start exchanging all of your resources for it. But we're going to have to see. Let's hop in. We'll do a couple more summons because this is the weekly reset. Only thing we're looking for. So it is $15 for the first one. It is $50 for the second. That is the way that they roll with these. That is the way they do both of them. It is 15. So when I got and bought Marseille was $15. The second one is $50 to buy. They only discount one of the two, and they have done that traditionally. We have seen it with all of the double dimensionals that we've gotten. Yep, they discount the first one. The second one is more expensive. Haven't played in a long time. Log in to see my old guild was still there, which was great. Say hi. Promised them I would return to build the Awakened Walker. Yeah, definitely do a Marseille. That's why we said, yeah, guys, if you're looking and if you're only getting one of the new heroes, Marseille is the one to build. That is the damage dealer. That is the one that you want to build. That is the one, again, that you do want to focus on. The other one is going to be more expensive. The other one is going to be the $50. It is going to be the full price if you're looking to build that second one. Awakened Walker would be, yeah, that would be the peak of memes. If you guys aren't familiar, guys, the Lightbearer faction, Walker is the Lone Ranger, which is a warrior. It's funny because one of the biggest memes was they released the Lone Ranger Walker, the Texas Ranger, if you've ever seen the show. And they didn't make him a ranger. They made him a warrior, which is kind of crazy. Can buy one, then exchange for one. That's what I'm doing. I bought the one for the 15, and then, yeah, they discount both. They say... But honestly, Lilith standards, it's not really a 50% discount for the second one. It is the regular price of a hero. However, they want to cut it saying, hey, this hero is $100 because I believe when this goes away, you can't buy them anymore. And also note, guys, if you do not buy Marseille and if you do not buy Laos, if you do not get either of them out of here, you have to wait about 5 months for the garrison. This is it. You have to wait about 5 months for them to come into the garrison. If you do not get them with the exchange, if you do not purchase them, you are going to have to wait 5 months going through here, which is kind of crazy. Have you seen the description of Walker when you look him up in the Safari? I'm not even sure I want to go down that rabbit hole. That's going to be kind of crazy. And there were a few in here, guys. Walker is one. When we look at the story, I think I read this originally when he came out. But when you look at Lightbearers, very similar to what we see. So Lightbearers, we had Walker, never had a use. We had Rigby, never really had a use. We got Oscar, never really had a use. Peggy was another one, never really had a place. It's sad to see like how many heroes through AFK Arena never really had a place. Same in here. There's always a few, like when Inoki came out, I built out Inoki, thinking the shielding aspect, never ever found a place. Same with Alero, never had a place within here. A couple of these, Warwick was used for a crazy amount of time. Kasos is another one. So Kasos focuses on Life Leech. Life Leech is a skill, if you're unfamiliar, when they are shielded, Life Leech does nothing. That's the reason why the Maulers really sucked for so far. Gwen was used, guys. Gwen was used for a lot. Gwen, honestly, when Gwen was released, if you check some of my videos from 5 years ago, Gwen and Hendrik were the combination from hell to deal with. They were a super strong combination between these two. Gwen was good for a considerable amount of time. But unfortunately, like I said, not a lot used. Even looking here, heroes, Kaz was never really used. Unfortunately, Cirrus was used for a little bit if you built him out because of the ability to increase his HP. Of course, Almas not really used. And this, I loved building out Solus. I love the idea of Solus. The flower she spawned died instantly. So again, never really used. Does Hendrik give shields? Hendrik kept the immunity. So Hendrik had the knockback, but Hendrik also protected the hero that died. The big thing with Hendrik is all 3 of these abilities were single use. That was the problem, is can only be used once, can only be used once. All of his abilities, once triggered, Hendrik was garbage. It was kind of sad. What's going on, yo? Thanks for joining us. Father and daughter duo. Yeah, they did work incredibly well in formations, and same with Greyborn. We had a couple in here like Fane, very, very short-lived. Even looking here like at Theowen, again, it was very short-lived through formations. Didn't see a lot of play with a few of the heroes in there. Unfortunately, you know, as a lot of players built them, they didn't see a lot of play. Damon also fell off as an early game carry. Yeah, Damon fell off Tonto quite a bit ago as the carry, released or really replaced by the heroes that are just doing a stupid amount of damage. We have a Palmer in there, still being used in there. Maybe an Awakened hero. Boom! It's Walker. We talk about Walker. Talk about it. Thou shall receive. There is Walker. But yeah, when you start looking at Liberto, when you start looking at Randy, when you start looking at some of the more prevalent, kind of newer heroes, they're being used everywhere. They're really, really being used. Yeah, that's right. The Awakened Walker. That if they do Awakened Walker, guys, remember, this year we still do have 4 releases. We have an Awakened Lightbearer, an Awakened Mauler, an Awakened Wilder, and an Awakened Greyborn hero. That is going to be coming to AFK Arena. We have 4 more Awakened heroes, and that doesn't even count if we get any more Draconic heroes. If we ever see regular 4 faction heroes again, I don't know. It's been kind of crazy, but yes, the regular 4 faction heroes, we have seen one and only one single 4 faction hero released this year, which was Mira. So this is it. We totally need some more just regular faction heroes, you know, kind of laying off all of the other heroes we have with the crossover events, everything else. This is the only hero that we have seen in 2025 that we had and really seen the release. Unfortunately, Mira is another one, you know, really cool looking skills, really cool abilities. Didn't and wasn't ever used anywhere except the Greyborn Tower, which kind of sucks. Yeah, we need an Awakened Mauler. Also have Shamira. Yeah, Shamira's pretty broke. Guys, the Awakened version of Shamira, again, very unique utility-wise in what she does in formations. It is definitely well worth building Shamira out. And again, Envy would still be my first one that I would absolutely focus on to build out here in the entirety. Guild... Oh, my guild leader said, if you're interested, DM him. I definitely will, guys. And there's the gifting of the membership. It goes up to Kev. I think it's Kev. Congratulations on the gifting of the membership. I like doing it every single stream. I'm hoping maybe later tomorrow I can also do a stream just to hop on here. But definitely wanted to. How often do you come on stream? We do it once a week. So normally, guys, the normal stream is at 1 p.m. on Sundays. That is traditionally the normal time. We do this every single time. I stop playing. It's okay. I'm not even too worried about it. We have a lot of people that join that don't even play AFK Arena. But yeah, gifting out the stream. We do this every single week. We do the stream. Like I said, usually we try to do Sunday. Sometimes we do have to do a Saturday night like this, just because I don't know what time and if we're doing the stream tomorrow. I'm going to try to hop on, and I try to hop on, honestly, when I come in here and play. So when I come in here and I go through, I do regular formations. If I'm sitting down to go through, and go through some of the content, make some progression, and go through, again, a lot of different things, I'll usually hop on and I will drop on just the regular stream on there. And I will go in there and I will just hop up and pop up kind of randomly, turn on notifications, because I do stream kind of randomly. If I'm sitting down to play, if I have time to sit down to play, absolutely. I hop in here, I just kick on the stream so we can talk, we can play. And I love it, guys. One of my absolute favorite things to do is sit here and talk to you guys, chat, go through and talk about AFK Arena, because you are the audience. And of course, you're the one and only that I have the ability to talk to. You're literally the only one that I do talk to about AFK Arena. Yeah, I will definitely shoot him over a message. And see, like I said, with a lot of changes that are coming, we know the Abyssal Expedition should be coming up pretty soon, seeing exactly what this looks like. We scored, I believe it was 12 to 15 last time. The Abyssal Expedition usually seems to bring a lot of people around. And look at that. The Kev gives to Ryan Goku that just showed up. It said, hey, passing the torch on to the players that continue AFK Arena. Congratulations, Ryan, and thank you, Kev, for throwing out the membership in there. That is absolutely awesome, just passing the torch. And again, if you come back to AFK Arena, guys, we're going to be here. I still enjoy playing the game. I feel like we have a lot of runway. I give a crazy amount of feedback when it comes to Lilith, when it comes to the content creators, everything. You know, we try to make the game better, and we try to focus on we try to focus on making the game better. What are the sticking points? What do we need to improve? What do we need to look at? I share feedback probably a hell of a lot more than they wish that I would probably provide them feedback. But honestly, I take a lot of feedback. I look at a lot of the YouTube comments. I try to reply to a lot of them as well, just going through and making sure that you guys have all the information that we do have around here. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's stream. We're going to cut it just a little bit short. I'm going to go get some sleep. It is time for me to hit the rack. I have to get some sleep. Like I said, 5 a.m. tomorrow comes pretty quick for volleyball. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm definitely going to look up the guild, check it out. Have a great night, guys. Thank you guys for joining me for the stream. And as always, thank you guys for watching.